Okay, so before I begin now, I want to make sure the Legacy office is here and there are people from Legacy because that was part of this planned thing. Thank you very much. Love it that you're shouting out. All right, so I'm going to put in the chat. This is part of today's handout. Some of you may already have it because you're return guests. That's fine. So today we're going to talk about what I named this class, CMAs, right? Something like that. Let's see, what do we call it today? Master the CMAs. That's correct. All right. All right. So we're going to learn how to use this beautiful tool. If you are a member of NAR, the National Association of Realtors, which most of you are that I know. If you're not, then unfortunately you don't have access to this. And that would be if you were from Canada. I have some friends from Canada that pop in. So that could be the reason why. But anyway, this beautiful tool, and remember, it's a tool. It's a tool because I've had a lot of people through the years. I've been teaching this class about 12 years. And through the years, people have said it doesn't work, it's not accurate, etc. It is a tool. It is a tool to use to help you to price listings. And also you can use this when you're working with buyers. Yeah. To determine what the buyer's offer is going to be. So that's the leverage that you have there. So if you remember that this is a tool and only a tool, you'll understand when we get to the end of this how things work. So the first hour, we're going to teach you how to build a full-blown CMA from start to finish. The second hour, we are going to show you how to justify the findings of that CMA and whether or not the market agrees with it. Because reality is this: the price of a home is an opinion of the buyer, of the seller, and in most cases, if you have a loan attached, the appraiser. So it's an opinion. Remember that. So as we're flooding in, let me put that handout in again, because I know people are going to be asking for it because they just popped in. So let's get it there. So who am I? Some of you know me from the Pivot Call, from Inspire. Some of you know me from Bold. Some of you know me multiple times from Bold. And my name is Ronnie DiCarlo. I am an agent in the Southwest Orlando, Dr. Phillips Market Center, home of the North Florida region. I'm a former Market Center tech trainer. So yes, I do know a little bit about tech, just a little. I mean, I was there when Command was built, those of you that are with Keller Williams. Yeah, and they told us to break it, and then we broke it because that's what you were supposed to do. All right? So before I get started, I do have a question. Can somebody tell me what is a CMA? And feel free, you don't have to raise your hand.
Comparative market analysis.
Very good. Very good. That is a technical term, comparative market analysis. What is a CMA not?
An appraisal.
Very good. Bonus points. Why is it not an appraisal?
Because we're not appraisers.
Okay, very good. Anything else?
Appraisers actually have to look at the home.
I beg your pardon?
For an appraisal, the appraiser would actually look at the home.
Okay. Would it surprise you to know that when the appraiser comes to look at the home, 95% of it is already done? So just looking at the home is the formality of putting the flags out, et cetera, et cetera. They've already done the appraisal before they get there, most of them. And the biggest aha you're going to find out as we go through this is that appraisers use RPR. So that was the big eye opener for me when I realized that. And I said, oh my goodness, that's right. They're licensed realtors just like you and me. And they use RPR just like we should be doing. Look, it's in your dues. You're paying for it. If you're not using it, shame on you. And before I forget, let me say next month's class, I'll put the link in there shortly, will be create an AI CMA in the palm of your hand. That'll be all about AI CMAs, and you can do it in the palm of your hand, literally. You'll be standing out there in front of somebody, and boom, you can do it right there. I promise you, this is a great tool to do that. All right, so we said we're not appraisers. Great. But let's look at it this way. The reason that a CMA is not an appraisal is you pay for an appraisal. You pay for an appraisal. Now, what I just said, and you said we're not appraisers, and I just told you that appraisers use RPR. So do you really think they should be getting paid? Well, yes, because there's different factors that are involved. But guess what? The RPR CMA is the exact same thing as an appraisal. If you haven't done an appraisal, had an appraisal yet, I highly suggest you to either ask somebody in the market center to share one of theirs or reach out to an appraiser and say, do you have a sample appraisal that you could share with me? And familiarize yourself with that. Because you're going to see that in the long and short of it, I'm going to tell you guys, the appraiser benefits who? Anyone?
Seller.
The seller.
Does the appraisal really benefit the seller?
Those who are a party to the transaction.
Who pays for the appraisal?
The buyer.
But
The
who
buyer.
benefits from it?
The buyer.
The
bank.
What was that? The last
Lender.
one?
The buyer.
Lender. Ding, ding,
Lend-
ding, ding, ding.
Lender.
The lender benefits for the appraisal. And literally, guys, I'm getting tired of hearing agents say, my buyer waived the appraisal. Your buyer cannot waive the appraisal. The only one that can waive the appraisal is the lender, and that's it. And if you're telling them, you know, if we waive the appraisal, we could probably get your offer accepted, you are putting yourself in a liability situation. Literally. And I hear it too many times. You can talk about appraisal gap, which is the difference between the appraisal and stuff. We went through that in 2020, right? When COVID happened. So let me get on that short note with that. COVID is the worst thing that ever happened to the real estate industry. I'll tell you very quickly why. Because what it did was it poisoned the buyers into thinking that 2% interest rates will be coming back shortly. It poisoned the sellers to believe that their house today is worth the same that it was worth in 2021 when they had a 200% equity. And they may only have 100% equity right now, and they don't want to believe it. And that's why it's a struggle today with the sellers when they say, what do you mean I didn't get 40 offers the next day after you put the sign in the yard? Yeah, they're still out there, and they're still doing that. The other sad part about it, there are realtors that have bought into that bologna sandwich. and don't understand that this market is totally different from that market. As we say, hyper-local. All right. So we understand that a CMA is not an appraisal because we don't pay for it yet. What do we charge for a CMA?
Nothing.
Yes, exactly. We charge nothing for it, right? Back in the bus days, 2008, most of us to stay alive were doing BPOs, a broker price opinion. Broker price opinion is basically a mini CMA provided to the bank or lender or whoever requests it, usually on short sales and liquidation properties. And we would do it to stay afloat. Back in the day, we got paid $65 for a drive-by. You drove by, took 4 pictures of the outside only. That's all you needed. Did a 1-page sheet, got paid $65. If it was the rush, you could name up to $250 each for that BPO and do it. Fast forward to today, I still get requests to do BPOs for these companies because I had a book that had 300 companies that did these BPOs or was requesting them. Today, they offer you $25 to do a BPO, the same one. It's a 5-page form. If it doesn't pass their internal, they don't pay you. And remember, the first word in BPO is what? Broker. So that means you're splitting $25 with your broker, whatever your cap is, whatever your split is. Now, back in the day, we were doing 10, 15 a week. So it was lucrative. That's how we stayed afloat. Now, I highly suggest do not do it. Do not do it. Okay? So with that in mind, let's get right to how we're going to do a CMA. So has anyone done a CMA either using RPR or using some other form like your multiple listing service, the ML? How long has it taken on average? Anyone? Half hour, 2 hours, 3 hours?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. Ding, ding, ding. You get the prize. Okay. So I teach this class in my market center just about monthly. And you know what happens? They take the class and then a month later, they come running in and say, I'm meeting with a seller. I need to do a CMA. All right. So you went to the class. I don't know how to do it. So now they want it to be done. No, they want me to do it. So what I do is I do it. And honestly, it's part 2 of this class. And literally, it can be done in less than 8 minutes. And it'll still come out the same way if I took my time to do it right now. It's going to take us about 45 minutes to do the step-by-step right now. But then again, on part 2, that's easy. It's going to take a while to go through it, to explain things, and you'll understand why I feel so strongly about this. And how many are in love with that? What's that thing it's called? The Z? It's what is it called?
The Zestimate.
The Zestimate. Okay, Zestimate. And I heard today on the pivot call, there is no, the A in the Zestimate stands for accuracy because there is no accuracy. I'm going to tell you right now, you got to stop doing that. We got to use it to our advantage. The Zestimate right now may be accurate. The reason being is 2 years ago, at least in Florida, Zillow became a legal brokerage. It is now a legal brokerage in all 50 states. That means they have paid for what? They have paid for the multiple listing service, the IDX feed, and they've also paid for RPR. So guess what? That Zestimate might be accurate. Guess what? It's a great tool to use now, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, because the first word out of their mouth is, well, Zillow said, well, Zillow said, well, Zillow said. Yes, that's one opinion. You owe yourself to get a second opinion. So please, please, pretty please. Code of Ethics says we shouldn't be talking bad about realtors. So we shouldn't be talking bad about this estimate or Zillow. Use it to our advantage. It's a powerful tool to use it as leverage. I'm going to show you how I use it today. Very simple. All right. So some of you joined late. So let me one more time put the hand out. You can follow or just follow on the screen because it is much easier. Let's see where I am. There you are. Okay. Now, hopefully the share will work. All right. So I don't have music, so I don't have to share sound. Just going to share the PDF. All right. Can everybody see the PDF? It says get a CMA in 10 steps. Yep. This is version 4.0. 1.0 was 12 years ago. And the interface is a little different today, so I haven't updated the pictures. Bear with me. Those of you that are in Florida, you may be on Matrix, CoreLogic, which is now Cotality. Cotality owns them. If you hear Cotality, that's the new kid that bought CoreLogic, and they're the ones that are pushing with everything with the AI, etc. So when you hear Cotality, it's really CoreLogic, which is the base. Okay? So just make sure you understand that. All right, so we're going to go right through this. First, you're going to log into Stellar MLS or your MLS, right? Multiple listing service, and select, right? You'll be on the home page. Now you're going to enter. You're going to enter the property that you want to use with RPR. So I'll be tabbing back and forth with this because I'm going to also go live. So let me just get the page I need for there so we can do that the right way. Okay. Thing. This is it. No, this is not it. All right, where'd it go? Oh, there we are. Okay. Okay, so now you should see the multiple listing service that I have up, my MLS. All right. So as it says in our step-by-step, the second step is to add the address. So the address we're going to use today, didn't save it. This is called the speed bar, and less is more. So I'm using the 17793 Bassett Circle. It's in Kissimmee, Florida, 34747. Okay. And now there are a couple of things I want to show you, but before I forget, let me go one tab. You see, ladies and gentlemen, there are 13 Zillow offices in Stellar MLS. Okay, they're there. They finally decided they can't beat us, so they joined us. Okay. All right, back to our subject property, 7793 Bassett Circle. This is a teaching class. So some of the things we're going to talk about to teach you to be better realtors, to understand things better. Can somebody tell me by looking on the top portion here? Well, I'll just point it right out. What's wrong with the list price? Is there anything wrong with the list price?
Like it's ending in 800?
I beg your pardon?
It's ending in 800, which is kind of in between.
Well, 699, 800. You have to understand how the search engines work. The search engines go in 25,000 increments. So for $200, which would have made this $700,000, this realtor cut out a very large pool of potential buyers that would buy this home. Don't be like that. If it wasn't 700, I would be 675. If we went above 700, 725. You want to be in the brackets the right way. That's leverage. Okay. Number two, we see it was built in 2005. So ding, ding, ding. We got to think about what if we are talking to the seller and or talking to the buyer. Is the roof 21 years old? That's a great question. That could be determining what the price is going to be. Okay. The next thing, the average days on market, that's the ADOM, actual days on market, not average, is 106. The cumulative days on market, the whole time it's been on the multiple listing service, is 106. Okay? What does that tell you right away as an agent?
Market is rejecting it. Rejecting.
Overpriced.
Overpriced?
Okay? That would be your first gut. Okay? So here's the thing, guys. If you don't know it by now, you got to know your product knowledge. This Windsor Palms is 2 miles from the main gates of Walt Disney World. This property is in a very, 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 very highly successful short-term rental community. And I can verify it by, I just sold on May 5th, 7728 Bassnet Circle. It appraised for $700,000. It's 80 square feet heated more. That's all it is. So it really isn't that much of a difference. And we walked into 41,000 in future bookings that my buyer got. Because you see the 106, you don't necessarily take that it's overpriced. Now your buyers right away are going to tell you, I want to put in a lowball offer. You have to educate them and let them know. And especially if it says something like future bookings to follow. In other words, if they give you bookings under the attachments tab here, if you see that, something like that. So the other thing we want to look at is this. In the public remarks, you want to look at, oh, look at this, a brand new roof in 2022. I'm not worried about a roof now. Now I can name the price, right? I don't have to adjust. 2 new HVAC systems. Yeah, there's got one upstairs, one downstairs. 4 years old, both 4 years old. Okay. The pool was resurfaced in 2017, flooring throughout in 2022. Okay. So this one probably should hold its value. Okay. All right. As we look at it, okay, like I said, it's located there. There is an HOA. It's a 24-hour man-gated community, full resort, including it's got its own water park. It's really, really a great resort, 5-star resort. All right. So how do we do the CMA for this, you're going to say? Well, up top here, we have all our little icons. We're just going to go right over to the last icon. Actually looks like the Google, the 4 different colors. And it says Realtors Property Resource Property Report. We will click on that, the Realtors Property Resource Report. Now, if you've never been to RPR, it's going to ask you to log in if you're following along. If not, don't worry about it. You can do it later and catch up. If your market center has already joined and made sure that it's been there, your branding should have your market center in the top left if you're with Keller Williams, like mine does, okay? On the right side is the profile. You should have your pretty picture, and you should have everything in there. So this way, that's your branding when you start using the reports, the beautiful reports that they have, okay? So as we look at the property information, we will see that the list price is $699,800. All right. The active date was 1/14/26. It is right now an RVM, that is the realtor valuation model, which gives estimated values which are generated by an automated valuation model that uses on-market and off-market MLS listing data. Please pay attention to that. I have said this since the day I read this. This is why the multiple listing service, your MLS, is flawed. How many of you do FSBOs? How many of you know how to get credit for a FSBO in your multiple listing service? Yeah, in my MLS, Stella, I have to do it just like a listing. All 13 tabs filled out. Even if I rush through it, it's going to take me at least an hour and a half with a photo just to get credit. Most agents don't do this because they don't have the time, lazy, whatever you want to call it. That's why your MLS is flawed, because it doesn't have the off-market properties. RPR pulls from the off-market properties, tax records, whatever sold data they can find. That's why it's probably more accurate. The RVMs and AVMs, that's the automated value model, are available for single-family residences, condominiums, small multifamily properties. That's 4 or less. RVMs, AVMs are updated twice a month. Oh, they finally put that in there. Okay, yeah, because I used to say that. All right. The estimated range, they give you a range. I'm not always happy with that, because when your buyer when your buyer sees it, they want to go on the low side. When the seller sees it, they want to go on the high side, okay? The confidence score, that's what you want to pay attention to. The confidence score, the RVM or AVM confidence score, expected accuracy of the property, 5-star rating is the highest confidence score and 0 the lowest. Confidence score is based on the outcome of multiple automated valuation models. All right. To learn more about them, we'll click on that. Take you right here and just scroll down. The rating details. There we go. If it's 5 stars, the sales price is likely to be within 10% plus or minus 90% of the time. And I've proven if it's 5 stars, take it to the bank. That's probably what it is. 4 stars, it's 15% of the time, 90% of the time. 15% of the AVM or RVM. 3 stars, you got to do some homework. 2 stars, a lot of homework. And 1 star means they couldn't find anything. So you really got to do your homework. Now, with this in mind, as I say that, you also got to remember this doesn't work on vacant land. Never has, because the vacant land is an anomaly. And what do I mean by that? You have 1 lot in a subdivision that didn't sell. It's really hard to get that valuated when there's nothing else to compare it to within a block, 1 mile radius, 5 mile radius, etc. Best bet, find your land baron that's in your market center and ask them, because that's the best way to do it. Okay? So, the next thing, since we see this was updated on 5/23, today is 5/27, it's pretty current. Okay? Don't ask me why it's 682,330. That I have no idea. Now, where it says to view details, you can actually see what RPR used to come up with that RVM. And it says the for sale properties used to calculate the RVM, the recently closed properties used to calculate the RVM, the off-market properties they used to calculate the RVM. This one's a great one here. Why? It's less than 0.4 of a mile. 729 it's sold for 12 square feet, same as ours. All right, that's a great one, believe it or not. Now your MLS won't have this because maybe they didn't enter it in there. Now the one thing you can know that you can enter off-market properties into RPR when you're doing your RVM. When you're doing your CMA. So the easiest way to do it, we're going to use what's called the wizard. So right here, the CMA value. Choose from 2 options, then follow 5 easy steps to create a CMA that you can include in your reports. Okay? You can click on there to learn how, or you'll just follow along with me and I'll show you how to do this. So we're going to click on Create a CMA. It's basically a 5-step process. Either you write down or commit to memory. It is living area of 2812 square feet. It is a 6-bedroom, 4-bath, built in 2005. Okay? All right. So we want to look at the home facts. So if we look at the home facts, because I did this morning, that's why it says confirmed. All you're doing is checking that the bedrooms match up, the listing data matches up with the public data, etc. The living area matches up with it. The building area, okay, so this is, the public record is actually wrong because this is the total square footage. That's what this should be. But the public record doesn't care about that. They care more about the living, because that's what on January 1st, the property taxes are based on. So as long as this is correct, they could care less about anything else. The same as they could care if this said 16 bedrooms. To a buyer, it makes a difference. They're teeny tiny, but as long as the square footage is okay, they're fine with that. Now, if you want to do it for your report, okay, you would in here click and add or change, okay? And that's how you can modify this for your report. How do you actually know which is correct? Anybody? Easiest way, go to the property. That's the easiest way to verify. Okay? All right, so we're going to confirm facts and close. That was step 1. The next thing we're going to do is going to search for comps. Average of comps is what we're going to do. We're going to find the comps. So we're going to go into this area. Before I do that, let me see something. Oh, yep, I got to go back. Right up top here. All right. So the analysis type, it's defaulted as the CMA, build an estimate based on comps, or an advanced CMA, which is a more detailed analysis. What's the difference? So the CMA allows for simple property adjustments. This is what this class is about. This is a simple one that doesn't really need to be adjusted. The advanced CMA provides more precise value adjustments and the ability to weight comps, assign different levels of importance to each comparable property. For more information, you can view the article, How the CMA is Different from Advanced CMA. So the CMA is where you add subject is inferior, superior, etc. This class is not about it. Our time is valuable. I don't want to waste time by doing that. So because I don't want to waste time by doing that, I only use the comparative, the average of the comps, which is the one I'm using, which is the estimate based on the comps. Now, just to make it clear why I do that per se, it's for the very simple reason of what I mentioned in the beginning. And what I mentioned in the beginning was the fact that appraisers use RPR. And the real reason is this is the original interface back in 2014. Okay? This is the original one, said comparative market analysis. All right? Well, this is the current one right now. Build an estimate based on comps. This is the one that says more detailed. If I go back to the 2014 one, comparative market analysis, which is what we're doing, sales market analysis, a workflow for appraisers. It said it here, and it said it there for almost a good 10 years, I would say. All right, before they changed it. The reason they changed it is every realtor looked at this and said, wait a minute, I'm not an appraiser, and it scared the bejesus out of them. So that's why they changed it to now look this way, just a more detailed. But that's where I got the aha that appraisers are using RPR. Okay? And that's when I realized, okay, if they're using it, I'm on the right track here. Now, the other thing is, like I said, you can do a more detailed analysis. I'm not about to do that because I've proven more times than I can count that this one that you can do in less than 8 minutes will hold up against an appraisal. Every time. Every time. That's the scary part of our industry because it's the truth. All right, so now we're going to go and find the comps. So we go to find the comps, and you see here, before I forget, it says add known property. So if there was a property that wasn't in RPR or wasn't in your MLS or just closed yesterday and you know about it, you can click right here, add the address or MLS listing, and add it if you want to use that to help in your CMA. Okay? So it is there that you can use. Next thing, as I said, write down or commit to memory. It's 2812 square feet, 6-bedroom, 4-bath, 2.5 when it was built. Next thing, we come down to here. There are several ways that you can do it. All right? You can draw a shape. Some of you may want the box, the radius, or polygon. That's okay if you know how Windsor Hills is. Now, for our purposes today, Windsor Hills is very simple because it's a rectangle community, okay? And it's a rectangle community. So because it's a rectangle community, you got to know where the break is, okay? So here to here, and then it breaks, okay? This is another development, so you don't want to include that. It's not gated. The same way most people just draw and include this community, very good community, not gated, not a resort. So you don't want inferior comps. So that's why I trust on just using them pulling what's in Windsor Hills. And if I don't find enough, then I'll explore from there. Now, the other thing is I want single family. I want active, pending, under contract, closed. I don't need the withdrawn expired unless I can't find enough comps to use. You know what I'm saying? So don't overthink this. Now, prior to COVID, prior to 2020, when there was slim pickings out there, the default was 3 months. Then during COVID, because they couldn't find enough, they went the last 6 months was the default. Fast forward to right after COVID, I want to say like 2022, before the market started to transition a little bit, it was still 6 months. And as you notice today, the default is back to 3 months. Yeah, it's back to 3 months because you don't want the 6 month ago listings because some of them, were overpriced and they're not good. So you want to keep it tight. I used to tweak this to the square footage is what, 2812 square feet. I would literally, till I learned how to use this beautiful tool, tweak it to where the square footage was 2,700 to 2,900. Don't have to. Let the potpourri get a good amount of it and just leave it alone, the default. So with that, I'm just going to click the search. When I click the search, it magically will pull up all of these possible comps. And there are comps that are outside of Windsor Hills, like these right here, okay? Now, this is Wyndham Palms. It's a comparable to Windsor Hills. They're just missing a water park, but they're a five-star resort. This is inferior, and this one here, Four Corners. If this is Emerald Island, it is comparable. But we're going to stick with here. There's plenty of comps that I see right here. So as we scroll down, you're going to learn how to tweak this real easy, real quickly. So those of us that have computer skills, and that's basic computer skills, we know that up at the top here, the square footage, if you click it once, it now puts it into a high to low. High to low. It's a basic computer skill. Why is that good? Because then I don't have to sift through this. I know that the property is 2812 square feet. All I'm going to do is go right down till I see the first 2812. As soon as I see the first 2812, I stop. I stop, and now I start to evaluate the comps. All right? Now, the blue star means it was used in the RVM that RPR came up with. Am I going to use it? Maybe. You want to go by the square footage, obviously, and then you want to look at distance. This is less than 3/10 of a mile from the subject property, your subject property, which is close. It's in the development, okay? Now, if you want more details, you can open it up. I don't have to unless I see something oddball, okay? So for our purposes and to save time, I've already selected 3 solds. The first one I selected was the one that I just sold, 7728 Teascone Boulevard. It sold on 5/5/26. Yeah, less than a couple of weeks ago, right? Closed for $700,000. It's 2876 square feet, so it's only about 60 square feet bigger. That's peanuts. It's a 7.4, but it really is not a 7.4 because the 7th bedroom is a combo. It's really the front office, so it's really not that, and it's built in the same year, okay, as our subject property. So I'm going to go and click it to add it to my comparable list. On the right side, this list is going to start doing a range based on these comps, okay, and it's going to have everything that all of our work product is going to be on the right side here. So the next one that I chose was 2596 Archfeld, 675 it closed for, 6.4 built in 208. Yes, RPR used it. I also chose that one. Now you see that this is going to change. It went from 683 down to 675, okay? So you see how now it's already self-adjusting itself. Next thing that I used was 2607 Dalby. Oh, 0.17 of a mile right next door. And the other one was obviously right next door too. Teascone was 0.14. All right. So you see how close they are. They're in the same development. All right. 2607 Dalby. All right. 6.4. 702 was the price. I used that one and added it. The one above here, you might say, wait a minute. There's the one Bassnet, 0.1 mile. All right. Wait a minute. 453.8. So if you were going to look it up and find out the details, you would come to find out that it was not fully furnished. It wasn't turnkey, and it actually was a short sale, and that's why it sold for so little on 325. Okay, so that's knowing your product knowledge. All right. So now I have my 3 solds. We want 3 active and or pendings. That creates our CMA just like an appraisal. So we have the 3 here, 675 to 703. Next thing we're going to do is scroll down now to did I pass it? No, closed. There's 58 properties for sale. So how many of you are going to raise your hand and say, oh my God, it's a buyer's market? Unfortunately, you would be wrong. Because as I just told you, 2 weeks ago, it was listed at 700. It appraised for 700 and came with 41,000 in future bookings. The seller benefited 100%. My buyers may have not have been that happy until I convinced them that they're getting 41,000 in future bookings. So just because there's that many and you're looking at it saying, oh my God, it's too much inventory, you have to know the hyperlocal. And the hyperlocal short-term rental, they're making a killing. These properties are averaging literally within the last year $75,000 to $125,000 in income. Not profit, income. Okay? All right, next thing, we're going to look for active properties. So same scenario. We're going to look for 2812 square feet. Go right down to 2812. Go down to 2812, and what do we see here? Oh, there's our first one. Active for sale, 110, right? 77 Bassett Circle. All right, 699, 9. You know, there's a class I could teach about this for $100 or $1,000. The next one, they're missing out on that pool of buyers at 700 and above. Crazy when I tell you. Anyway, so I was always taught this way, and I still believe it this way. I will take a pending listing over an active listing every single day when I'm doing a CMA. Can anybody tell me why?
It triggered an offer.
That's one reason, but what's the bonus? What's the built-in thing that agents should know that don't? Why is the pending so much more powerful than an active?
I know when I'm doing CMAs, I reach out to that listing agent for a pending.
Wait. Who is that? Who is that?
It's Judy from San Diego.
Judy from Satin. Like I expect less than that. I had a girl, Judy. Tell them
Judy
how
from
it's
San
done.
Diego. So yes, usually good morning and buenos dias. I will call up that listing agent and find out what the activity was. You know, was it a multiple offer situation? Did it sit? You know, so on and so forth, and try to, quite frankly, find out what that accepted offer price was. Are there any credits, seller credits that are being negotiated or agreed to? So I try and get some information to truly be able to piece together an accurate CMA.
I'm so glad this is recorded. Write it down, kiddies. She's teaching you the right way. That is exactly right. Now look, raise your right hand, because I saw a post about somebody saying, why are they asking why my seller is moving? That's the first thing you learn as a buyer's agent. Find out the motivation of the seller, because you may want to hear they're in a divorce situation. That's leverage. Or you may want to hear, well, they need to downsize. Okay, Have they already bought a new house? Yeah, now they got 2 mortgages. That's leverage for you with your buyer. Remember, you can ask any question. If they answer you, they may be unethical by giving something away that they shouldn't. I'm not saying you ask them what's the price you got. And I know Judy's not doing that. She gave you a couple of ways. I would be ring, ring. Hey, it's Ronnie Keller Williams. Listen, I got somebody right in the neighborhood. We're looking to price their home. Let me ask you, did you get multiple offers on this home? Because I know the market's changing. Okay. Let me ask you, were they at or above list price? I'm not asking for the exact price. Were they cash or financing? And as Judy stated too, did they have concessions? Was there things this and that? That's why these pendings are so much more powerful than the actives. And literally, you'd be surprised. Where's Kenya? Kenya's on here. Kenya said she spoke to an agent and gave her everything, right? And she wasn't even asking for it. So it can happen. Now, don't get me wrong. There are sellers that will tell you if they've got a lot of offers or something, they may tell you, tell anybody else that's asking, we have offers between blah, blah, and blah, blah. What do you want to do? Yeah. If your seller tells you to release that information, go for it. Make sure you either have it on recorded or you have email or whatever. Anyway, so let me find the next 2. So the next 2 there was I'm using was 7803. So we're going to add that. And this is the first time in a long time that I found 3 pendings. So I have 3 opportunities to call and find out what's going on here. And you see where they're at, 620, 650. So, and I'm also a leg up because I sold a property in there for 700 2 weeks ago. So I already know where the market is flying right there. Okay. So they got it at 699. They probably saw mine and they made it for that. Or they already had it at that. Maybe I didn't look to see if there was any price reductions. That's another good tool to look at. See what they've already done. If they've reduced it, that's in the history. That's a buyer's agent's best friend, and most agents don't know to use or use at all. Remind me, and I'll show you where that is. So anyway, now that we have our 3 active and/or pending and sold, we go back up to the right side here, and now you'll see that the spread range went down to 619 to 703. Now, can you add more than 3 comps, 3 active and 3 sold? Yes, just be careful. I did that one time and everything was falling in line. And my buyer, what do you think he said? Went with the least one, the 4th one that I added, which was the lowest, and said, that's what I want to offer. And then I had to fight my way out of it. So be forewarned. All right. Next, very simple, update valuation and close. This is a very simple wizard. Ding. Survey says 671,599. 671,599. And I just pulled local comps, regular comps, ready comps. So wait a minute. If I go back to the property information, the RVM is 682. The CMA is 672, round up. Am I that far off from this? No. That's why I'm saying you can actually take this to the bank when I tell you. Guess what? Maybe the 699, 800, they did it for what? Well, I want to negotiate because they're not expecting to get 699. They're expecting to get 675 or 685 or something like that. So the seller may have wanted to negotiate, so he put in that. Okay? Remember, what the seller's perception is totally different. All right? So now, of course, we now have to do what? We have to create a report. So we're going to just click on create a report, and it's in the step-by-steps. All right? So now, there's a buyer template, there's a seller template, a property template, there's a CMA template. I'm going to strongly encourage you not to use that. The reason why, it's about 48 pages, and I think that's too long. Okay? Right now, I'm going to use my templates, which is actually, I did the custom seller one, okay, which is the seller template. They say the length is 13 pages. That's minimum. Minimum. But when you start pulling these properties, property specific, they wind up being about 18 to 20 pages. So if you're printing it out double-sided, it's 10 pages. Okay, it's not that tough. Mine right now is 9 pages. That's it. Of course, if I'm emailing most of it, who cares? So I'm using the custom seller test. So let's take a look and see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to use this template. Property address is there. It's called the custom seller test. That's what I named it as. I'm going to continue. Now it pulls up their template wizard. The template wizard is totally customizable. Meaning you can do whatever you want. You look at the report cover. You see the cover, right? You see the cover. Most of you do not have this in there because this is your first time playing with RPR. So you don't have your information like you should. So in that case, I would say go to edit the cover. You can edit the cover image. You can edit the cover layout. You can also add the elements, okay? Your work phone, your phone number. They took and moved the profile over here because you should have done it in your profile, which is the drop down here. But if you didn't, you still have the opportunity to create it right here. Now, don't ask me if it stays or if it's just for the one. I don't know. I've never tried it that way. Mine's been done for the profile. If it doesn't stay, then definitely go to the profile. Now, you can also change the photo for the cover photo that you want and decide what you want. So you have the ability to do that, okay? So that's the, oh, wait a minute. Let's go back. There we are. So that's the cover page, okay? Let's see. Oh, there we are. Customize. That's what I want. Okay. So that would be the cover page. The property summary, if you don't like something in here, then get rid of it. Okay? You'll see the property summary. It has a map. It has the price. You can put the basic price if you want, the AVR, RVM details, the CMA value, the CMA range, the refined value if you did refined value. If not, then leave it alone. Okay? The next thing is the property information. This is just basic. If it's a seller, they know their house. You don't need to do a description, the least details. You might do basic property facts, that's all, right? The interior features, exterior features, make it a little good. Homeowner, legal description, land features. You may or may not have to use all of these. Don't worry about it. Listing history is not needed. Public sales history is not needed. All right. Miscellaneous details, sales and financing, the estimated value. Now, you might want to put the estimated value. Okay. So here is the estimated value. And all it's doing is tracking it since it's been tracking it. But that's already in your CMA when they look at it. So I would leave it out, to be honest with you. Okay. Photos, if you see there's like 6 pages of photos, eliminate them. Okay. You don't need see there's 76 photos. I don't need all 76. So that's where you can actually shorten down and get everything done, that you can select the photos and not have all of those photos if you don't want. The market trends, definitely. The market trends, that's their what? That's their market trends. And that's a great tool that I teach in the next month's class that will show you how to send these market trends out. All right. This is like the Kelly snapshot that we used to use. It's also what? It's also how you can do the quick equity analysis, because the quick equity analysis is only one page. And if time permits, I will show you that. All right. So the market trends, there's the market trend, shows them the same exact thing as the estimate. Okay. Telling you exactly. And look at the medium estimated value. You had mine appraised for 700. Do you see how wacky it is right out there right now? That's the thing, guys. It's out there. All right. So you have to be the economist of choice to know exactly where these things are and use your scripts and role play. Could it be possible, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that on this side of town, the market is telling us this side of town, the market has spoken this way? All right. That's a Tulio. The market has spoken. The market has spoken. Remember that. It's no more Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I don't make the market. I just interpret it. No, it's the market has spoken. That's much stronger. The medium sold listings, okay? You see where they're floating around up here, okay? Medium list price, telling you everything, the market activity, all right? One thing, here's the CMA. The map will display when the report is generated, so don't worry about that. And then it actually shows your work, what you did. The closed, this is the pending one, the closed one, okay? Your subject property, the other pending, and the other closed one, okay? So your work is right there showing them. So you're not hiding anything. It's right there to show them exactly how you came up with it. Your pricing strategy is right there. So that's only the spread, but I would still go with. So for me, if I had this right now, 675 is what I would list it for, right? To keep in line with my brackets of the search engines. If he said 700, I'll say, oh, you want to negotiate down? Well, let me ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, would you like to create an auction effect? Let's do it at 675 and let them fight for it. And do it that way, okay? All right, next thing, it shows the pricing strategy exactly the way it is. In other words, the lowest price on the selected comps, the median price was 687, so 675 is not bad, right? All right, the highest price was 702. So comparison, the average of the comps came out 671. Original estimated value was 682. Okay. Seller's net sheet. Oh, if you don't have a seller's net sheet with you, shame on you, because this is where you can really get it. Now, I don't need to include this because I have one from my office that we use, and it's a two column, because in my pre-listing, pre-qual questions, I asked the question, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what do you think you want to list your home for? What price? I don't know. You tell me. You're the expert. Because I like to study the market, let me ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what's the price you can't go below? You get one of those two figures, you got one of two columns filled out. Because if you get the second one, what they can't go below, price reductions are easy peasy lemon squeezy. Because as long as they're making a penny more than what their bottom line is, you can do the price reduction. And because the way I was taught, and you guys should be doing this, on page 4 of our listing agreement is the additional terms. Seller agrees to reduce price by X if there are 0 offers or 0 showings within the first 14 days on a multiple listing service. You get them to sign it from day one. I was doing this during COVID, and they told me, why? Why would you do that? You're getting 40 offers. Because if I stop using this system, I'll forget to do it when I need it. And that's why I still do it today. Because it's one of the greatest tools most agents don't do. So while I'm here and I have this net sheet here, I'm going to eliminate it. So it should save me a page, I think. Oh, no, because double-sided will still be 18, which is okay. Anyway, the next one is the estimated property equity. It'll show you that. All right. And that tells you exactly what's going on. Now, the only other thing that I want to point out that should be in here, and did I go right by it? Probably because I jumped the thing. Oh, it didn't get added. Wait a minute. There's one thing that should be in here. Nope, not that. Not that. Let's see, where'd you go? Oh, maybe it's now called neighborhood. Let me see. No, that's not it. Oh, where'd you go? Schools, only if they're looking for schools or need schools or stuff like that. All right. I know it's in here because I did it just before. Property summary, nope. Description, lease, owner facts, owner. What I'm looking for is the AARP, is what it's called. Now, you don't have to be 55 or over 50 for this, because it's a great tool that actually helps to let them know, potential buyers, if you're working with buyers, what the neighborhood is like, what is going on, etc. And I'm not finding it right now. I don't know why. I had it in here. I know it was in there. Maybe it's the custom page. No. No. All right, I'll find it. And then we can talk about that anyway. But anyway, right now, this would be the CMA that I would be sending to them. Now, you have two options. You can download it, which is good because then you can proofread it. You can also share it. So there's two ways to share it. Obviously by email. The other way, do you see this pop-up that came up? Do you see it says dynamic link? Does anybody know what that dynamic link does? So if you remember back in the day, if you're with Keller Williams, when we first started with Command, we had landing pages. They still do. It's called neighborhoods. You add the neighborhood to their account. When you add the neighborhood, it creates a landing page. That landing page is defined to that neighborhood and updates automatically. Well, RPR created this dynamic link. When you send it to them and they go and put it in their browser, it updates every 48 to 72 hours. So it will update all of the properties that are in there, what's going on. It's a great tool most agents don't know and don't use. Shame on them. You can also email it right here, so definitely get that dynamic link to them. Okay?
Ronnie, can you repeat that? The copy, the dynamic link, can you repeat that again?
This content in this report will refresh every 48 hours. Please download and save this PDF to save this version of the report. So you have the report. When you send that link to them, it'll automatically update refresh every 48 hours. Okay? We're good on that? I'll take that as yes. Okay. So let's see what the report looks like. I'm going to do the one that I downloaded because I hope it has in there what I said was in there. At least it should have been when I did it. All right. So let's see. Share. Where are you? Okay. All right. So this is the report. And when I did this report, it was 18 pages. All right. And as you notice, we'll scroll, has all my branding on the first page. The second page, it has the list price, the CMA value, the RVM. Okay, what was there? This is the CMA value. Next, talks about the property facts. Next thing, tells you everything that's going on with it. It also has, it's got the homeowners association, it's got the photos about the property, et cetera, et cetera. It also has the market trends for Kissimmee 34747, which is the zip code, what's going on. The sold to list price to sales price ratio, 96% the sellers are realizing. There's 9 months of inventory, so immediately you would say, what? It's a buyer's market. It depends, as we say. Okay. Next thing that we have is the April sold listings that we're showing, the sold price, the median price, market activity, the comps that we used, the comp adjustments that we used, everything that's in there, all of our comps that we had, pricing strategy, okay, where to price it at, the low, medium, high. All right, so this report, well, it's the custom one, left out the one thing that I wanted in there. So let me see if I can find it, because if I can find it, then you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You can add it because it can be added. All right, so let's go back to our reports. All right, so we'll get back in here. Let me get back to the template. Okay, so like this for now. Nope, it's not it either. All right, I don't want to waste too much time on this cause. What it is the AARP report that was in there. Maybe they got rid of it, and I don't even know it yet. That could be. But that one had, see, the CMA is 48 pages. I highly don't recommend you using that. Okay. See, subject property comparison and comparative market pricing strategy. Okay. No, we don't want that. Okay. Let me see if I can find. Is it in the neighborhood one? They might have oh, you know what? They might have redid it because they're now using NAR statistics. So maybe they got rid of the AARP. Yep, that could be very well, because I'm not seeing it listed on any of these that I was using. Yeah, because it would say it right away. Yep, that could be why. So it's the neighborhood. All right. Before I forget, let me first, you guys can write this down if you want, or I'll show it to you. It's even easier. How many of you know the best site for buyers and sellers to look at so you don't get into trouble? Although just the other day, or was it last week, that they now say that we can talk about areas and stuff that consult with your broker to make sure what you can and cannot say. But if you want the greatest site known to mankind, it's city-data.com. City data is what the buyers use. You put in I'm just going to put in 34747, which is kissing me. You click go. It will give you from soup to nuts, the population. It will tell you what was sold, what hasn't been sold, how the population has grown, what the races are in there. So you don't have to look like you're saying something you shouldn't, okay? It'll even say the median household income. It'll tell you what's going on there. It'll also say the averages from the 2020 census that were filed, what's going on, who's self-employed, who's not self-employed, everything for the tax year. All right, it goes back. Let's see, where's my favorite? Year the houses were built. It'll tell you about that. Owner occupied. It'll tell you no bedroom, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms, how many vehicles are in these houses, owner occupied, renter occupied, all the demographics going on, the distribution of the medium household, where the household's medium value sits, the house value and the household income, the distribution of the rent paid by the renters. Also has the estimated medium house for a condo, the mean price, the owners and renters type in there by unit type, the values by ages. So you see who's moving in, who's not moving in, how many 1 detached, 2 detached, 3 detached, travel time, who's willing to travel to work, means of transportation, bicycle, bus, what's near there, what's not near there, the household relationship, spouses, unmarried partners, opposite, children, adopted, grandchildren. You name it, it's here. Okay? What else is in here? Common places of birth for the foreign, most first ancestries reported. And there should be, if I remember, the facilities that are nearby to help them, the marital status for the males and the marital status for the females. This is the one that I always thought was very colorful, because when I looked at where my market center is in Dr. Phillips, we found out that the divorce rate is like through the roof there. So there's a lot of divorcees over there. So just by looking at that. So tells you everything here. So just so you have everything. And guess what, last but not least, should be, and I think it's here at the bottom so you don't get yourself into trouble. Let's see. There's the accidents, the statistics, the fatal accidents, and I believe these are about the mortgages, the loans. Let's see, first names, common last names, the businesses that are located in there. They used to have, and maybe I went to it real fast, they used to have the demographics of the crime in there. They may have pulled it, or I may have went too fast. On your own time, look at it, and you can find out what's going on and stuff like that. It'll tell you everything and anything about it. You can also search by neighborhood. So if you have a particular neighborhood, go to that state and then zoom into the neighborhood. You'll find out by neighborhood. So, and let your buyers and sellers do it so you stay out of harm's way. Okay? All right. So now that we finished, we've gotten the first part out of the way, and we're running a little bit over time. I'll try to get this as quickly as possible. So we're going to go into part 2. So part 2 is this. Part 2 is, I know that we basically did our RPR and we came up with the CMA, and that value is 672. So I have on a separate piece of paper, I write down 672. Okay? Now, 672 is for RPR. I have about 17 ways to justify RPR's findings. These are leverage tools. You already know that the minute that you're at the listing appointment and you slam it down and say, well, this is what the market is telling us, and they say, Zillow said, and I never used to have a comeback for that until I decided to do this, because guess what? Your buyers, sellers, and investors are doing the very same thing. So I'll show you where it is on the handout if you didn't find it already on the handout, because on the handout, you will find that it's on page, I think it's 14, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, get to share. So on page, it's either 13 or 14. And there we go. So it's page 13. Page 13. These are the additional links for extra help and to justify RPR. I have banks. I have websites. I have numerous different things. Most of these still work. Some of them are not working. There's also the RPR YouTube video, Perfect Pricing with Easy Accurate CAs from RPR. It's basically my class. And it came 10 years later. I should have called them. All right. Everything in the RPR database is blog.nar.rpr.com. Okay. So now let's use this to our advantage. So how do we use it to our advantage? So I'm taking a piece of paper and I'm writing down RPR 672. Next thing I'm going to do is very simply, I am going to open up a browser, and I can still use my one that I had there, I think. Where'd it go? Gotta bring it up. So there's the city data one. So that's the one I'll use. Let's see. Okay, so now I go into my I've got everything saved. So make it easier for us. So in my real estate folder, under equity analysis, under justify, the first place I'm going to go to is that nasty bank. We need the banks, but they're nasty. Oh, and before I forget, because I can't type, copy the address. Make my life simple. Okay. Estimate your home's value. What? You mean there's websites that do this and they do it for free? Yes. Took me 6 months to come up with these. The reason being is I only took the websites that did what? Didn't ask for you to create an account, to sign up, and this and that. Well, guess what? Your buyers and sellers and investors found these sites also. And they're using it to their advantage against you. What do we say? Do not get out scripted by your buyers, sellers, and investors. So Bank of America says the house is worth $638. I write it down, okay? The reason it's $638, look what they also give you, the comparative homes. Well, I'm looking at this and saying, wait a minute. They're taking comparative homes that they shouldn't have used here. Because the comparative homes that they were using, all right, were not the same apples for apples, as we like to say. So that's probably why the 638 came out of that. So you can use it or not use it, depending on what you want to defend as your case. And what I would do is, if I'm not going to have the comparables, just print out page 1 and take this with you. All right? I'm going to go through this very quickly because that's all it takes to do it. And that's why I do a CMA in less than 8 minutes. All right. Next one is going to be the other nasty bank. Chase. Okay. Chase. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to put in the address. I put in the address. I click search. Chase comes back and says it's worth 685. 685. One said 638. The other one said 685. And Chase actually gives you the map where it actually shows you where they believe each house is. So another great tool. All right, I print this out. That's number 2. All right, go to the next one. Okay, now this one you can do from your MLS or you can do it from right here. It's realtor.com. So I'm going to go from the MLS. Right here next to the RPR is the realtor.com Pro search report. When you get there, every one of you have this. Just put in your email address. That's all it takes. You don't have to sign up or anything. Go create an account. It should 99 out of 100 times pull up that specific property, which it does, 7793. But look, guys, they give you an estimate. How many of you have gone on realtor.com and saw the estimate that your buyers and sellers are already seeing? Yeah. They never had this, but then they said, well, Zillow's doing it, so we should doing it, right? And if you scroll down here, sometimes it'll say the estimated value, right? And if it doesn't, then all you have to do is simply view the property on realtor.com. When you view the property on realtor.com, you scroll down and you'll see that it says, oh, come on, I moved too fast. Or did I take it from the other side? Oh, there it is, home value. It's already open up. The real estimate, current price, collateral analytics. Sometimes you'll see a figure here. Cotality. Cotality is CoreLogic, the MLS that I'm using. Quantarium, about over a year ago, there was an article in Inman News. Quantarium was the future of AI telling us what the properties were worth. You can use one or you can use all. So I write it down, and this one I took is 680. I took 685 for realtor, just like Chase. Okay. So now I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, including RPR. Next thing I do, I go back to the equity analysis, back to the justify. I'm going, this site it works most of the time. Sometimes you'll put in an address and it won't work. So yes, you can use it or no, don't use it. Let me see now if I can get it. Okay, so here I put in the address. This one, Cocoon, when you check it, it'll actually give you estimated value, 706, right? And as you scroll down, it also tells you the property condition score, the home value, and what the home value forecast is. So it's not a buyer's market if they're predicting that the price is going to go up. These are great tools to show your buyer, your seller, etc. Okay? Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, we got to put an offer now. It's below the projected price. You'll have equity. Okay? Use your scripts to your advantage, guys. I'm telling you. That's what you have to do here. Next thing. Go back in there. Let's get the next one. This one is another nationwide bank. It's called Penny Mac. Penny Mac, we put in the address. We click I'm not a robot. You got to, I may have to redo it. Go get the home value estimate. Their estimate is 667,275. Okay. They also, in this one, I think they show you their work, what they use to come up with it. Print it out if you're going to use it. If not, don't use it. I, in this case, did put it in here because I did a test and I'm looking and seeing that all of them were actually within the neighborhood of where I wanted to be to recommend. All right. The next one would be another bank, I believe. This is rate.com. And you see, why am I using all of these? Because all of these do not require me to create an account, to sign up, give them all my information, because that's what most of these sites do. What's your home worth? What's my home worth on your website do? Collect their information. They have to give the information, right? All right, 677. Do you see a running theme here? 677. Okay. You see the running theme? All right. And this one gives similar to that. If I go to the next one. Okay, the next one is Mavoto. I don't know if you guys know Mavoto. The head of Mavoto is our former president, Chris Heller. Now, this one they changed. I don't know if it's going to do the same thing now. Yep, it changed. They put up the give us your email, give us this, give us that. So I will be taking this off. Okay. But I was able to quickly see that it said 7-Eleven. So this one I won't be using in the future because of that reason, that they got stingy again. And that's what they do. They get stingy because they're trying to build their database. What are they doing? They're adding to their database, which is what they want. That's how they're controlling market share. All right. So the next one that we have, let's see. Did we do Actos? Actos. Thought I did Actos. All right, we'll try it. No results found. And that can happen. Sometimes it's the way it was typed in. So then you just got to keep seeing if it will come up. Sometimes it won't. It all depends how their search engine is set up. So that's why I didn't go there. But that's another great site to use. Most of the time it does work. So the next one I'm going to do is, okay, the next one I'm going to do is, in case you were wondering how a for sale by owner knows what to list their property for without interrogating you to see what you think it's worth, they go to this website. It's called forsalebyowner.com. And all they do is put in their address. And that's how they determine what their address is worth. So fizzybo.com says 690. So I wrote that down. And actually it changed because I wrote this down yesterday. Yesterday it was 693. So it adjusts. So that's a good thing. All right. The second to last one, you may have known them. They are the former Redfin. Well, they're still Redfin. But now, as you know or you don't know, they're powered by Rocket Mortgage. Because I used to have Redfin and Market Mortgage, and now it says powered by Rocket. Okay? So Rocket Mortgage is powering them here. And Redfin, which some people swear by, believe it or not, says it's worth 676. Okay? So I wrote down and said that. And last but not least, because we don't have the seller in front of us, but I like to keep, with the times the right way. The almighty Zillow. What did Zillow say this was worth? Okay? Zillow says 682, just round it off. Okay? So now that I've completed that, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11. Oh, I did have Actos. Didn't come up when I wanted to. Let me see if I can get that back, because that is a very good reason for that one. And Where are you? That's Yeah, you see how if you type it in the wrong way or you don't abbreviate, they don't find it. This one, then they finally found it. And this is why I put it in there. 582 is their estimated value. And I wrote that down. I put it at the bottom. I put it at the bottom for a specific reason. And I'll show you why. All right. Hopefully you can see this. Let me see if I can. I may have to do this. Take that, virtual, none. Okay, so this is the list as I did it. So when I did it, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I took 11 of them. I added them up and I divided by 11, and it gave me an average of 681. 681. And then I said, wait a minute, let me throw Axos in there at the bottom, 582. When I added Actos in, it gave me an average of 673. What was our CMA that we did? 672. What was the RVM that RPR started with? 682. Okay? You understand? I don't have to slice. I don't have to dice and not. Now, for those of you that are, well, this property has Goldie gold faucets and gold comes out of them when you turn them on. What do you do when you have something that unique? What should you do? You either ask your seller to pay for it or you pay for an appraisal. And if you know right now that most appraisers are using RPR, it ain't going to be that far off when I tell you. It's not going to be that far off. Okay? Oh, I forgot one last one. There is one last one, okay, that you can use. And actually, it's if you're with Keller Williams, it should be in your pocket. Let me see if I can show you that. Let's see. This may or may not work. Just give me a second. I might be able to get this working. Right. I got it to work first shot. Okay, that's good. All right, so now let me see if I can share it with you guys. Okay, this last one, if you're with Keller Williams, it should be in your pocket. And what I mean by that is in your pocket, you should have the Command app and you should have the Keller Williams consumer app. When you have the consumer app, if you've done it the right way, and the right way is you set it up by you putting a test account in there. When you put that test account in there, you'll see that it says, welcome, Ronnie. This is you to your personalized KW dashboard. And where it says my home, it says ready to discover your home value. Let's find your home to get started. Enter address. I enter my address. My address is 7793. Bassnet. Circle. 34747. Okay. Okay. We have a estimated value of 627 to 717. Connect with us to unlock even more powerful insights. Unlock the rent value insights. Understand how your home is trending over the last 30. Unlock more home or find. Okay. Home equity calculator is there. There's the home value. Okay. Want more details? Reach out to your agent. Guys, this is what's called a what? A MOFR. This is a MOFR. So the MOFR, make offer for immediate response, is to help you to get business. It's also another great tool in your pocket with RPR. You have tools there, and you can add or put in as many homes as you want. It's unlimited. You just got to go back and start at the beginning and just add in the market value or the home to get the value. So it's a great tool most agents are not using. All right. So before I go on, any questions that we can tie this up? And then I have a couple of things I got to share with you. So you have
Ronnie,
everything that you need. Yes.
Myra Roland in Tampa.
Hello, Myra.
How are you? You added Redfin, everything, and divided by the numbers that you have. It is 11 and 12, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. So if I only took 7, then I would divide by 7. But because all of them were almost in line, I kept them to show you guys that you could. Now, do I have to take all 11? No. But here's the idea. You've heard me say I print them all out, right? I print them all out. And because I print them all out, guess what? When they say, well, Zillow says it's worth X, Y, and Z, I turn around and I take them all out and I lay them down. And I say, this is what the market is telling us. The market has spoken. And then you shut up and let the silence do a heavy lifting. Because when they see 672, 685, 685, 706, 667, 677, 693, their mind can only go one way. And this is how you'll stop them from overpricing, because most of them right now are still living in 2020 thinking that they can price it as high as they want, which is wrong. Okay. So any other questions? Oh, we might make it on time. I like it. No other questions? All right. So a couple of things I have for you, and that's this. This will be recorded. It will be on my YouTube site. On my YouTube site, I highly encourage you to go there. Let me see if I can find it. That would be helpful, right? I think it's here. Maybe. Okay. It is called KW Classic Cappers in Training. And I'll put the link in the chat because everybody wants to have the link. I know. I understand. It's easier with the link. So copy. And there's the chat. Put it in here. Pasty. Okay, so there it is. On here is every equity analysis I've ever done, basically. This one was last year in June. This was in the Celebration office. I was actually in the office, and I taught it in there. Carrie Sullivan invited me in there. This one I think was New Jersey. This one was Georgia. Arthurine Johnson invited me, and I taught there. Those of you that know, okay. There's many good videos in here. Okay. All right. Many videos, and most of the playlists, you look at the playlist, you'll find some of them. All right. Do you know your KW apps, classic videos, price your home in today's market? This is the Terry Story video, the fish story, where she drops the lines and teaches us how to low, medium, high. That's in there. 7th level mega open houses that I teach. The one I teach with Jack Smith. That's the luxury side. And then there's my side. You'll see why I use 100 signs, why it still works. The golden letter. What's the golden letter? What's the golden letter, right? That's in here. This is very good. Pre-qual listing. If you don't know how to use the pre-qual questions and do it, I highly encourage you to watch that. Let's see. These are some from Maps Coaching, Fast Track Maps. How to get a buyer's rep agreement signed every time. This is from Aaron Simmons. We've had him on Inspire. This is when he did Mega Buyer Agent Skills. And he teaches you how to do that. We have Chris Heller in here, Diana Kokoska, of course, Mary Tennant's in here. This is, what's her name, in South Florida. I can't think of her name now. All right. Jackie Ellis. There we go. All right. What else do we have in here? We have Bold Coach Rich Carpentieri, his buyer presentation, if you wanted to know that. Nikki Ubaldini with her power session. Okay. There is a ton of stuff in here, guys. I highly encourage you to like, subscribe, etc. Pass it along. It's open to everyone. You don't have to sign up. I don't want you to sign up. I just want you to be there and do it. You don't have to, give your life away or nothing. And it's free to use. Last but not least, I still have the list here that I was doing. Let me see. The equity analysis. So those of us in Inspire saw the equity analysis, the original one that was done by Chris Ruskowitz. Chris Ruskowitz does a great job with that equity analysis. The thing is, the difference is this. Hers are geared to established customers already. Those who are already in her database. Okay? So because of that, she's got the relationship. That's why she just sends the report. She doesn't figure out a CMA or anything like that. That's to get them talking to then do the CMA. Still good. But for those of us that want to do what? Door knock, circle prospect, or just in general, get what's called a MOFR. I created it based on the old Kelly snapshot where we used to put in a zip code or a neighborhood and send them the information, market statistics. So the easy, fast way to do that, I created this little gem for you. And this one is a quick CMA. It's very, 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 very simple to do. And it doesn't matter if you're using a buyer template, the seller template. Now, I think maybe the seller template. No, buyer template still will work because it doesn't matter. So if you're using any one of the templates should work with this. The reason being is you are only using page 1 and page 2. That's it. So it says, go to narrpr.com, type in an address. Oh, I got to make that disclaimer. If you don't find the address in RPR, it could be that it's never been listed because it was brand new construction. Like my home, I bought it in 2005, never been on the MLS. So to find it, you go to narrpr.com, National Association of RPR.com. You type in the address. That's the mother load, which will give you 65 million listings. Okay? Once you get it, then all you're going to do next is go to create a report. Nothing new. Just click on create a report. Choose any. You see here, I haven't created a CMA. All I have is the RVM. That's all I want is the RVM. That's all I want is that RVM. That's the MOFR. That's the T's. You choose any report. They don't have a property flyer anymore. This is an old one. You only have to print or save page 1 and 2 for the equity analysis. So this is page 1. You can put the pretty picture of it if you have one. And it's got all your information. And this is page 2, 1 page. All it shows is the estimated value. All you want them to say is, well, I think my house is worth more than that. If you're there door knocking and you're standing at the door, then you say, can I come in for 15 minutes and let's look at what the market is telling us. You are now on a listing appointment and you better have brought a blank listing agreement because now you're going to take a listing. That's the MOFR. That's the beauty of this. What do we teach in Pivot? You should be sending 2 equity analysis a day. If you know them, use Chris Ruskowitz. I agree with it. And she's got a very good smart plan in there. If you don't know them, you send them this. You could text it to them. You can email it to them. You can door knock to them. You can call them on the phone and then send it to them. Either way, it doesn't matter. Okay? So that's basically what the quick equity analysis is like. Guys, it's a chance to get more business. That's what we're trying to do. Get more and more business. All right. So in case you didn't know it, RPR also has what they call residential printables. Residential printables. I'm going to show you where they're located, and then I'll put the link where to go for them. All right. So first of all, the printables look something like this. They have printables for create your own account. Okay, they're called printables. How many of you know what a one-pager is? That's what these are. 1 page. Teaches you how to do everything. Create your own account, map search and analysis, printable neighborhoods, market activity. Okay, residential printables, they're how-to guides. They're printer-friendly, helpful for step-by-step instructions on a specific topic in RPR residential. All right, what do they look like, you say? So what they look like, let's see if we can get that. This is what they look like. There are 36 of them. They show you the resources, where the articles are. They show you the social, that you can jump on the social to watch them, the LinkedIn, the YouTube that they have. Okay, so they do from start to finish. Create your account, your profile and settings, how to do the home page, your markets, how to read your market, how do you set up your markets, the property search and results, how to do that. They also have map search and analysis, schools, how to look for schools in RPR, mailing labels. Did you know you get free mailing labels in RPR? Yeah, you get free mailing labels in RPR. All right, tells you how to create those mailing labels. Realtors can create up to 2,000 mailing labels each month. 2,000 a month. Oh my God. Oh my God. Isn't that crazy? Customize them the way you want. Geographic farming, those of you that want to do farming. Analyze the results of the farm, etc. property details, etc., etc., etc. How to read, this would be the market trends. This is market trends, property details, additional resources that you can use is nar.rpr.com. And always, 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 you can always go and use the help section there, the blog, which has untold webinars, untold free stuff. Well, you're paying for it anyway, but it's there for you to use. There's neighborhoods. How's the market? How's the market, right? They ask you, how's the market? Here, shove this down their throat. This is how the market is. I'm sorry. I had to throw that in. How's the market? This is how the market is. This is what the market is telling us. Schools, you want to know about schools? Here's the schools. You can reverse on schools. You can actually do that. All right. Market activity, what's going on in these neighborhoods. There is so much here. I mean, it's unbelievable how much free stuff there is that we can use to our advantage. And most realtor, you know, it's said that out of the 1.5 million membership, only half use RPR. It's sad when I tell you. Well, it's an opportunity for us to take advantage, right? You do custom pages, everything you have there. All right. Facebook, share reports on Facebook, how to do that. All right. So let me see if I can quickly, now we're running over. I knew it. Let's see if I can show you exactly where to find it. We'll get that. So you know exactly what we're doing with that. All right, where are you? Get away. Okay, let's get back to... All right, we'll go the easy way, this way. All right, so under the help tab, you'll find all these things. Live chat with support. They are very friendly. They are very quick. All right, there's a training area for stuff. All right, so let's see, printables. See if that'll take me quickly to it, I hope. Let's see.
I think it's without the S. I think it's without the S at the end, Ronnie.
Let's try that. Okay. It's this learning resources, a big video, printable guides. There we go. That's what they're called. All right. So there we are. RPR printables. Excuse me. I didn't give them the RPR. Printable guides, the RPR mobile guide, printable guides, broker, commercial, residential. There we are. All right. So let me do this. Actually, let's see something. There it is, the set. Download the full set. So you need to go to this page, scroll to the middle. Excuse me, wrong thing. Try it again. Okay. Copy. All right, scroll down to the middle and download. And then download the full set, which is all 36 pages that I showed you. Okay? All right, so we are past time. I want to respect your time. I thank you guys for hanging in there. Hopefully we dotted the I's, we crossed the T's, and everybody's happy with everything. June 24th, mark your calendars. That will be the AI CMAs in the palm of your hand. Look for that. I'll be sending that out to everybody. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you to the Legacy office. Thank you to the Naples office. Thank you to the Bonita Springs office. Thank you for the Lake Nona office. Thank you for my office. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank
Cheers.
you.